Calgary Foothills has a question.
Mr. Speaker, this government cancelled the digital media tax credit in 2019. This has had profound impact on our economy and industry. Jobs were lost, businesses left, and gone to friendlier jurisdictions. Yet this government continues to toy with this industry. The Premier promised to introduce one. The Technology Minister promised to reintroduce it. And it is in his mandate letter. However, another throne speech has come and gone, and not a single word of it. Did the Minister of Technology and Innovation forget about this promise?
The Minister of Technology and Innovation.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question. Mr. Speaker, as we've said before, we are actively looking at a possibility of a tax credit of this nature. But, Mr. Speaker, unlike the NDP, we're going to do our homework before we consider making a policy decision that could cost hundreds of millions of dollars. We need to make sure that we make a decision that is in the best interests of all Albertans, not just one stakeholder group. And while the NDP are really good at just throwing money at things without doing their homework and by extension creating enormous debt and burden on all Albertans, we will not make that same mistake.
The honourable member for Calgary Foothills.
Mr. Speaker, given that Scott Nye, the COO of Inflection Games, reported that his company was looking at building to move into now sits vacant with that impact on the economy of downtown Edmonton, given that we've seen British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec develop thriving post-production and gaming industries, given that these industries have created thousands of good-paying jobs, and given that the digital media tax credit would generate new economic activity and revenue for this province, why has this minister failed yet again to introduce the digital media tax credit?
The Honourable Minister of Technology and Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, as I said before, we're going to take the time to do our homework to make sure that before we make any long-term decisions that could cost hundreds of millions of dollars of hard-earned taxpayer dollars, that we make sure it will make sense for all taxpayers. In the meantime, though, Mr. Speaker, Alberta's tech sector is booming like never before. When the NDP were in power back in 2017, we only saw $30 million of venture capital investment into Alberta tech companies. Last year alone, we saw $729 million, Mr. Speaker. That's exponential growth. Our government is doing all of the right things to make Alberta one of the most attractive places to invest in a technology business in the entire country.
The honourable member for Calgary Foothills.
Mr. Speaker, given that digital media industries are generating trillions of dollars in GDP worldwide, given that we have excellent digital media training programs in place in Alberta, and given that youth are leaving Alberta to find digital media jobs in other provinces, and given that a digital media tax credit is a natural extension to the film and television tax credit in Alberta, will the minister today commit to implementing a digital media tax credit? Will he follow through with his promise this time?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said before we commit to a massive $100 million plus subsidy program, we have to be sure and certain that it will be in the interest of all Albertans, not just the recipients of that program. That is what we have committed to Albertans to do. We will continue that important work. But in the meantime, we have the strongest performing tech sector in the country. While the rest of the industry across Canada is on the steady decline, ours is shooting through the roof, and we are seeing exponential growth in technology investment across all sectors of the technology sector, Mr. Speaker. There has never been a better time to be in technology in Alberta than today, and our best days lie.
Order.